Hey, science and history fans, Bill Nye here. Let's talk about a day you might think is just, well, the day before the big day. I'm talking about July 3rd. Now, July 4th gets all the fireworks and parades, right? It's Independence Day in the USA. But guess what? July 3rd is like the amazing opening act for a super famous rock band. It has its own cool stories and secrets. It's not just a waiting room for July 4th. It's a day buzzing with its own kind of energy. A special kind of historical hum. Believe it or not, the big vote for American independence actually happened on July 2nd, 1776. That's right. The smart folks in the Continental Congress said, yes, we want to be free. So July 3rd was the very first full day after that huge decision. Can you imagine the excitement? People were probably whispering, did you hear? It's happening. It was like the day after you find out you're going on an awesome vacation. The bags aren't packed yet, but the thrill is totally there. One of the most important leaders back then, John Adams, even wrote a letter. He thought July 2nd would be the day everyone celebrated with bells and bonfires. He wrote that it will be the most memorable epocha in the history of America. He imagined future generations celebrating July 2nd. So July 3rd was the day everyone was probably thinking, okay, John Adams says this is it. Imagine his surprise when July 4th, the day the Declaration of Independence was officially adopted, became the big star. So picture this. July 3rd, 1776. The big vote for freedom just happened. The official paper, the Declaration, was still being polished up. It was a day filled with so much anticipation. Like when you know your birthday cake is baking and you can smell it, but you can't eat it yet. That was July 3rd, a day of wow, this is real, before the giant party started. It was the ultimate are we there yet? But in a good, exciting, history-making way. Isn't that neat? Now, just because July 3rd is snuggled right next to July 4th doesn't mean it hasn't had its own spotlight moments throughout history. Oh no, this day has seen some seriously cool stuff happen all around the world. It wasn't just sitting around twiddling its thumbs, waiting for the fireworks. It was out there, making its own mark on the history books. From founding cities to major battles, July 3rd has been a busy beaver of a day. Let's dive into some of its awesome achievements. Way back in 1608, on July 3rd, a French explorer named Samuel de Champlain did something huge. He founded Quebec City in Canada. That's a super old and very important city, and it all started on a July 3rd. Think about that for a second. An entire beautiful city full of history and people got its start on this very day. That's a pretty big deal, I'd say. It shows that July 3rd has been a day for new beginnings for a very long time. Fast forward a couple of centuries to 1863. On July 3rd, a very important and very sad event was coming to an end. It was the last day of the Battle of Gettysburg. This was a huge battle during the American Civil War. It was a turning point in the war, and so many brave soldiers were involved. It's a reminder that history has serious moments, and July 3rd has seen those too. It wasn't all parades and picnics on this date. So you see, July 3rd isn't just a wallflower in the dance of dates. It's a day with its own powerful stories. From the founding of a major North American city to the conclusion of a pivotal battle, this date has been at the center of some significant historical events. It's like discovering that your quiet friend has secretly climbed Mount Everest. July 3rd has some impressive credentials, making it much more than just the day before the 4th. It's a historical heavyweight in its own right. All right, history detectives, we know July 3rd has seen big events. But what about famous people? Were any cool cats or amazing inventors born on this almost famous day? And are there any other fun, quirky facts tied to July 3rd? You bet there are. This day isn't just about declarations and battles. It's also about birthdays and interesting little tidbits that make history so much fun to explore. Let's put on our thinking caps and see what we can uncover about this intriguing date. Get this. Tom Cruise, the super famous movie star who does all those incredible stunts in movies like Mission Impossible, was born on July 3rd, 1962. Wow. Maybe being born so close to Independence Day gave him some of that daring, adventurous spirit. He flies jets and jumps off buildings in his films. That's pretty independent, wouldn't you say? So happy birthday to Tom Cruise whenever July 3rd rolls around. It's a star-studded day for sure. Here's a funny question to munch on. What do you think people were eating on July 3rd, 1776? They probably weren't grilling hot dogs and hamburgers like many do today for July 4th celebrations. Those foods weren't really a big thing yet. Maybe they were having some stew or bread, or perhaps they were too busy talking about the big news of independence to even think much about food. Or maybe they were saving their appetites for the next day's big celebrations. Food for thought, huh? And here's another cool state fact for you. On July 3rd, 1890, Idaho became the 43rd state in the USA. So, while the whole country is getting ready for July 4th, Idaho has its own special reason to celebrate a day earlier. Happy Statehood Day, Idaho. That means folks in Idaho get a head start on the celebrations. It's like having a pre-party for the nation's birthday. How cool is that? More reasons to cheer in early July. So, we've seen that July 3rd is way more than just a countdown day. It's packed with its own history, its own celebrities, and its own special vibe. It might seem like it's always in the shadow of its super famous neighbor, July 4th. But July 3rd is super important because it's the day of getting ready, the day of it's almost here. It's the deep breath before the big cheer. And that, my friends, is a pretty special role to play in the story of history. Think about it like this. July 2nd was the yes, we're doing it, day when independence was voted for. July 4th was the, okay, here's the official announcement, let's tell the world, day with the Declaration of Independence. So what was July 3rd? It was that exciting day in between. It was the whoa, this is really happening day. The colonists were probably buzzing with a mix of excitement, nervousness, and hope. It was the ultimate cliffhanger moment in American history. July 3rd is a fantastic reminder that big, amazing events often have a super important build-up. The excitement for July 4th doesn't just magically appear at midnight. It starts to bubble and brew on July 3rd. You can almost feel the anticipation in the air. People start gathering supplies for picnics. Maybe some early travelers are already on the road. It's the calm before the wonderful, celebratory storm of fireworks and freedom songs. It's the setup for the punchline. So, the next time July 3rd comes around on your calendar, give it a little nod of appreciation. It's not just any old day. It's the cool, historical opening act that perfectly sets the stage for a spectacular show. It's a day with its own stories, its own importance, and its own quiet awesomeness. Now here's a thought to ponder. What other day before days in history do you think might be secretly super important? History is all around us in every single day. Keep exploring.